Starting in the name of Allah, the most merciful, mighty and gracious to all. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is Adil Sabir here with the basic course of business and research methods, or sometimes business research methods. This is the first lecture. Before proceeding to the lecture, I would like to recommend some books. Here I have mentioned the recommended books for you. The first one is William G. Zigman, Business Research Method, any latest edition if you have. And the second one, that is Business Research Method by Uma Sikran, 4th edition. Both the books are very famous and well organized, and inshallah both the books will cover up your 100% course outline. Now what we are going to cover in this whole course of BRM, we will discuss research introduction and scientific investigation. That will be our first section of the course. Here in this section we will discuss the introduction of research, the types of research, and the different application of research, the different areas of research, the different managerial approaches to research. And in scientific investigation we will discuss the different qualities, characteristics, or sometimes hallmarks of scientific research. Then we will move to the next, which is known as research process. Now research process, that is basically the problem definition phase. Here we will discuss the research process and its basic and applied processes. Then after that we will discuss the broad problem area. We will also discuss the preliminary data collection techniques, and we will cover up inshallah the literature survey or problem definitions. Upon that we have the next, which is theoretical framework. Now what is theoretical framework? We will discuss that why that there is a need of theoretical framework. Theoretical framework is actually the identification of variables and the relationship among those variables. We will discuss the types of variables, the application of variables. We also will discuss hypothesis development, the statements of hypothesis, the types of hypothesis, and the quantitative methods to find out that how to measure the hypothesis or how to test the hypothesis. After that we have the next phase, which is elements of research design. Here in this section we will discuss that what is research design, what is the purpose of the research design. Then we will study the study analysis. After that we will discuss the types of investigations, like causal investigation, like correlational studies, etc. We will discuss the study settings, like contrived or contrived and non-contrived studies, the unit of analysis, and the time horizons. After that we will study the next section, which is known as measurement of variables. Simply stated, that is, here in this theoretical section we have mentioned the different variables and the types and relationships of those variables. And now in this section, measurement of variables, we will discuss that how variables are to be measured, what is basically the scaling techniques, how variables are to be measured and operationalized. Simply stated, we will study the operational definitions, the dimension and elements of a variable. Then we will discuss the types of scales, like what are the different types of scales, like nominal scale, ordinal scales, ratio scales, etc. And then we will discuss the operational definition regarding to scales. After that we will have the next, that is data collection method. Here in data collection method we will discuss that what is basically the data collection, what are the different sources of data, the primary data, the secondary data. We will discuss the interview process or the techniques or types of interviews, face-to-face interview, assisted interviews, tips to follow in the interviewing process, additional sources of interview, different things we will discuss inshallah in this section. We will also discuss the questionnaires, that what is questionnaire, how we will develop a questionnaire, what are the different methodologies or tips to make a questionnaire. After that we will move to the next, that is sampling and data interpretation. Now here in this section we will discuss the population, the parameter, the sample, the statistic. After that we will move to the sampling process, the types of sampling like probability sampling, non-probability sampling, sampling in a cross-cultural issues. After that we will discuss the sample data, precision, confidence and estimations, etc. And in the last section, that is about the report writing, how to document your research, how to write down your report. In this section, in the last report writing, we will discuss that what are the different sections of a report. Like for example the main body. Now what comes under the main body? After that we will discuss the appendix part of the report, that what comes under the appendix part. So that is totally the course roadmap about the business research method. Now as I told you that this is our first lecture, lecture number 1 about the BRM, shortly BRM, business research method. Here in this lecture we will discuss the main core ideas about research. Before starting the lecture, let me tell you about the nature of the subject. The nature of the subject is totally theoretical. It means that this subject is totally theory in nature. The subject is not a quantitative subject. This subject totally depends on statistics, mostly on inferential statistics, the quantitative techniques. Because without understanding the quantitative techniques of statistics, business research method of BRM, that is very difficult to understand. So in this subject, later on we will discuss some quantitative approaches of statistical techniques as well. Already we have discussed these statistical techniques in inferential statistics as well. But here, don't worry, this is not numerical, this is not quantitative, soluna pake nashta. Sirf or sirf I will give you the idea that what type of distribution is required, why we are using hypothesis justification, and how we will use hypothesis justification in different scenarios. Now in this lecture the major points will be discussed, and these points are search and research. After that we will discuss that what is business research. Then we will discuss why research is important, or simply stated the value of a research. And then we will study search, research and managers. When or whether we are aware of it or not, we are surrounded by research. Educators, administrators, government officials, business leaders, human service providers, healthcare professionals regularly use research findings in their jobs. Like social researches can be used to raise children, reduce crime, improve public health, sell products, improve workers' efficiencies, or just understand one's life. Suppose, let me give you an example. Assume for a moment that we are the manager of a restaurant. Suppose. Now we are experiencing a very important or significant or very bad turnover in our waiter or waitress pool. And long time customers have been commenting that the friendly atmosphere that has historically drawn them to your door is changing. Now what we will do? Where will we try to solve this problem? The problem of high turnover and decline in the friendly atmosphere at the restaurant definitely has to be reached. So the study of research methods, BRM, provides us with the knowledge and skills that we need to solve the problem and meet the challenges. So therefore we are going to start the subject BRM by a very literal word, that is search and research. Dear students, first of all I would like to make a difference, that what is the difference between search and research. If you notice, I have mentioned here search and I have mentioned here research. Now search, if you find out that what is search, so search means simply looking for something, and when we are talking about research, looking into something. If you notice that here is a word for and here is a word into, it simply stated that search means find out a new thing in a new way, while when we are talking about research, it means looking into something. When we are talking about this into here tells us that that is basically a deep analysis process. So simply stated, we can say that search is try to find something by looking, or otherwise seeking carefully and thoroughly, whereas research is the systematic investigation and study of materials and sources in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions. So we can say that research, if you notice one thing, one is re and another is search. Research, it means search again and again. So from this research we can say that search again and again an old thing to find out a new thing. So that is a mainstream difference between search and research. Okay, search tell us that how to looking the things, or how to look for the things, and research tell us that use the research again and again, or do the research again and again upon an old concept to find out a new concept. So that is the main difference between search and research. If you notice, students, when I started the course, I told you, students, initially that the name of the subject is business, research and methods. Look at here, one is research and another is methods. There are two terminologies. First, I'm going to explain the research, that what is research. Research simply means search again and again to find out a new thing. And then we will discuss after that the methods, that what is basically the method.